and this is the final presentation for the term project. We'll go through the introduction, literature review method, results, and conclusion for the specific research question. The research problem talks about the broad topic area of adolescent development with focus on neuroscience and cognitive psychology. We'll see computation and neurobiology perspectives as well. There are multiple motives serving as the background for this research, but predominantly it is the interest in understanding changes in mental representations and the varied intelligent behavior we see in families that include infants, adolescents, adults, and seniors, such as mine. So the question specifically asks if there is a connection between the transition of mental models and brain activity development generating new behavior in teenagers ages 11 through 17. This is grounded in cognitive science, specifically with a Crumb lens, where we want to understand the internal representation and computation that generates intelligent behavior, or rather the shift of intelligent behavior in adolescents as they develop neurobiologically. And we also see some cognitive psychology theories to explain why we see those behavioral shifts. The method to the literature review started off with a project pitch with a plan. Going into the readings, synthesizing them, and then focusing on the main patterns, key insights, and future scope. Featured works touch on cognitive psychology, neuroscience, computation, and biology, different theories, brain scans, reinforcement learning, and an adjacent topic of puberty and genetics. The results are here in a tabular format. The first cell, cognitive psychology and neuroscience, is the dual systems theory, which shows that two systems, the socio-emotional and the cognitive control, is what, or the maturation lag between the two is what causes risky behavior. The amygdala is imperative to the socio-emotional growth, and in pubertal hormones, we see a rush of dopamine in that socio-emotional area, which creates reward sensitivity and impulsive behavior. Because the cognitive control region has not matured at the same rate, we see that risky behavior throughout adolescence. We have brain scans and fMRI to show increased brain matter and synapses pruning, respectively, which is important in the efficiencies of neural networks. Reinforcement learning shows the predictive error rates that determine mood patterns in adolescence. A very interesting oscillating curve where socio-emotional context plays a very important role in how sensitive an action is treated as stimuli for an adolescent's depiction for mood. Something really small can be tremendously positive or tremendously negative, creating affective disorders, or internalizing and externalizing issues like depression and anxiety that can unfortunately lead on into adulthood. We also have reinforcement learning that shows learning rate and inverse temperature as a function of age, showing how that changes as adolescence proceeds. And from a biological perspective, we see COMT gene helping decision making, and pubertal hormones, again, that help rush that dopamine into that socio-emotional area. Some of the limitations here are heterogeneity, lack of uniformity, and lack of definition. All of these works talk about adolescence, but there is no defined range. There's nothing within bounds as to what is an adolescent. And so that introduces variety and variability in who it is we are looking to as participants. The lack of uniformity is in the tasks domain. What tests are we using to get that information? What's testing IQ? What is testing mood? And how are we tracking if we're using self-recall? That introduces heterogeneity as well. There's also the question to how the mind conversation connects to the neural networks and brain scans that we see in the physical body. Key insights are the dual systems theory as a result of neurobiological findings and behavioral changes that can also be explained by reinforcement learning. Fuzzy trace theory shifts the internal representation format that adolescents choose to go with when making decisions. Synaptic pruning shows the connection is representation refinement, and pubertal factors play a role in how all of that grows. Future scope should talk about how schools and institutions can help adolescents be aware of their mental health and control socio-emotional factors so that they can have better mental health going on into adulthood. This is the project plan summary. Thank you so much.